Welcome back to the Fantasy Podcast presented by IKEA. This is the new show we're doing, just kind of detailing everything going on in the Fantasy League, presented by IKEA. For want to just get that out the way. It's just sponsor. The league is sponsored by IKEA now. IKEA, the furniture you love at the prices you can afford. So yeah, go out and buy some IKEA things, and yeah, just uh, just go IKEA.
Yeah,
So.
who doesn't love IKEA? I mean, honestly, it's the best furniture company in the game. I mean, without a doubt. Also, I'm personally sponsored by DraftKings, DraftKings.com. Every time I mention them, I get a 5 cent residual. So, podcast presented by IKEA, but my takes personally sponsored by DraftKings.
And I'm also personally sponsoring Eric's Take with Bet Online. If you don't know about Bet Online, it's well, you know, just go Google it,
Or don't.
or don't. With that out of the way, I think we just get into chatting about the week one matchups here. I don't know, Eric, what matchup do you want to start out with?
Well, that's a great question, Pat. I think we start out with probably the most. I guess we'll start with the closest game of the week if you want to go with that one.
Sure.
I know that one's close to home for you.
Yeah. I assume you're referring to our matchup here. It was close. Yeah, just couldn't pull it out. Couldn't pull it out this week.
Yeah, so for the people not having scores on their phone right now and listening, chatting in, we also have a chat bar, by the way.
Yep.
So feel free to chat us any questions, anything like that. But we're talking about Patrick Fox versus Eric Berg, classic barn burner. It was 93.3 finished to 90.85 in favor of Coach Burke. Another short coming for Coach Fox.
Yeah, I
What's your take
oh
on?
yeah, I think my biggest takeaways on this was a few things. One, Jameer Gibbs, Jamison Williams just not really doing what I needed them to do. The Lions just did not look great. I think Dan Campbell was a Ben Johnson merchant, unfortunately. Brian Thomas Jr. also kind of a dud. He really only got one touch that entire game, which was a touchdown, but need more from that. And then on your end, I mean, you had some dud performances from Jamar Chase and Bo Nix, but I think honestly, what won you that this matchup here is Chuba Hubbard, Chuba Hubba, got that. I hate to use the term, but garbage time touchdown. And honestly, that kind of was the difference in this one.
Yeah, that's a good point. I call this game, I have it highlighted right now on my big board as underperformance. It's on both ends. The over on this game, or the line was set at, what was it, 200?
120. Oh,
Well, yeah, total line, total
yeah, over
two,
200.
234-ish. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
at 180, barely. Just massive underperformance. Yeah, to your point on my end, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill combined for just under 10 points. That always hurts. Bo Nix couldn't even get to 10. That's never good when your quarterback's sub 10. Just huge for the unders. For anyone taking the under at DraftKings.com, they were looking good here. But other than that, yeah, just complete disappointment all around. But we got out of there with a victory. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean the whole even in the NFL, most of the unders hit, I think, in the early window. I don't know if there was I think there was one over that hit in the early window that day.
Yeah.
So not a lot of points to be scored, but what do you say we move to the next matchup here? I got the Yeehaw Junction Ducks versus the Dallas Crabbers. This one was a little bit more lopsided. I got kind of an interesting take on this one. I
Yeah.
really think the Dallas Crabbers lost because of CeeDee Lamb. Not even on their team,
Yeah.
but I think they lost because of him because he had like three huge drops in that game, and honestly, Dak looked pretty good, but he's not going to score any touchdown passes if CeeDee Lamb is just dropping balls left and right. So I think he catches a few, might be closer, but as it stands, pretty sound victory by Spencer Locke.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. I mean, don't get me wrong, Coach Rob and Erica, legacy owners of this franchise, of this league.
Right.
I mean, they've been running their franchise for what? Probably since day one, right?
Historic.
Historic,
Historic.
historic, a pillar franchise in this league. That being said, though, I'm not really sure why they chose to go with Dak against the Eagles week one. I think that's just a bad matchup overall. So, You
I
know,
mean, he looked good. It just didn't. If Dak was not the issue, it was CD Lamb that was the issue. Which, you know,
I
I
mean,
don't.
hurt
I
him.
get the matchup wasn't great. The matchup was not great.
Good. I mean, Caleb Williams, mind you, going against the Vikings defense. I mean, geez, he got 26 points. You know, if they play them, that's all I'm
That's
saying.
true. Yeah, that's
Reigning
true. But if
champion.
you looked at those two games, I mean, Dak was a much better quarterback than Caleb Williams. It's just he's a better rusher. Dak doesn't have legs anymore.
Yeah, but this is fantasy. This is fantasy.
Oh, I
All
hear you.
about all about getting those points. So yeah, I mean, you look for a rushing quarterback. I mean, again, look, it's just at the end of the day, when you're playing Dak Prescott, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and I get that. Trust me, but when you got an aging Travis Kelsey on your roster, obviously George Pickens is subject to blow up at any point. There's talent. Don't get me wrong with this team. I'm curious to see how the Crabbers will recover from here.
Yeah, Devonta Smith didn't look too good either.
He did not, and that's what I'm saying. Just overall, their roster
Really,
right.
the entire Eagles offense looked pretty abysmal besides Quan.
Well, abysmal's a stretch. Also,
Uh,
starters during the preseason. That's not here or there. But I will say I want to make this less about the disappointment the Crabbers kind of put out there this week, and more about the dominance of Spencer Locke. I mean, my goodness, this team is. Look, I'm a little bit
he's
worried.
always been good.
He's always been good. He's always been competitive historically. I mean, again, he competes. He's an above 500 coach historically.
He's always in the playoffs.
Always in the playoffs. I mean,
He's the Mike Tomlin of our league.
exactly, exactly. He's showing why time after time. Coach Locke gets the boys. I don't really know how he's always able to assemble this roster, but it's always competitive, always pretty good. And they're my early favorite to win the league, honestly, right now.
Wow, early favorite.
Yep. Sponsored by DraftKings.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, maybe let's go to the next matchup here. Also pretty close. We got the Deshaun Watson happy endings versus Saban's Army. Saban's Army, another team, another Lock brother. And let me tell you, I am excited for the Tanya Lock Bowl this year.
Oh,
I have that circled on my calendar. I think it's week 9. That
yep,
is going to be a great matchup because Saban's Army, he's looking pretty good too.
yeah.
Both names, by the way, definitely have aged out.
Yeah. Just because their name begins with an L doesn't mean they're going to get one. I mean, these two boys are just they're winning franchises. Again, I mean, these guys know what it's like to taste victory. They know what it's like to compete in meaningful games. I mean, again, my goodness, couldn't say enough. Tanya really popped up some good ones here, so
Yeah, she
uh,
did.
be very proud.
Yeah,
Proud. I'll tell you what, though, Deshaun Watson at the ending was going to have this win. If you took a look at the defense, though, he got negative 7 points from his defense, and that was the difference.
yeah, that's what I had circled on this one. Why is starting the Ravens defense against Buffalo? I mean, I know the Ravens defense was good at the end of the year last year, but they started slow. They were not great to begin the year. And it's also freaking Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like at Buffalo.
I'm not going to try to make a statement on Coach Frederick's behalf. I mean, Steven knows what he's doing. He gets the boys fired up. But I think he was going for a statement starting
Oh,
against
wow.
defending NFL MVP. I think he was trying to prove a point, and that was the difference of the game. It blew up in their face. And
Well, it made a big statement. I mean, that's a set. Even if he got 0 points, I think he would have won. If
yeah,
he just wouldn't have started the defense, he would have won.
yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it's just questionable decisions. Like sometimes you trust in your guys, but sometimes you just got to play the matchup. And I think
Yeah,
he should have taken it, obviously.
yeah. I always play the matchup on defense, and granted, I've never won a championship, so maybe that's not the way to do it, but that's one way to lose. So congrats to Saban's Army. Good game all around. Now we have the Owlets versus the Ozark Aardvarks.
Yeah,
Yeah, this one was definitely probably one of the more one-sided contests in the league. Not the most, but one of the more one-sided ones. Not much to say here other than just kind of domination. You had Jalen Hurts doing great, Zay Flowers doing great. CeeDee Lamb, even with the drops, looked pretty good. So, pretty good all around for the outlets. And, you know, Joe Burrow kind of always starting slow. T. Higgins. I mean, the one thing about what is his name? DePotty?
the Patty. Yep.
DePotty?
Coach
Yeah.
Patty, the potty.
Yeah. The one thing about DePotty is he's always going to be drafting those Bengals players.
He is the Bengals merchant.
He's a Bengals merchant. And, you live by the Bengals, you die by the Bengals.
Yeah, I
It's,
mean, One would
Yeah,
say a glutton for punishment. You know, it's hard to be a Bengals fan. I mean, it's why they're called the Bungles because they just bungle things. I mean,
yeah,
honestly, just it's another slow start from Cincy. You know, the difference this year, they tried to set the tone. They did play all their starters in every preseason game, which is one of
hmm
the only teams to do so. So Joe was out there. Joe was getting the reps. T was out there. T was running. But I mean, they just couldn't get it going in week one against a Cleveland defense. I mean, really, I don't know what to tell you. This is just, you would think they put up at least a decent showing, but again, under 10 points for Joe, under five for T. Higgins. I mean, I don't know. That's just one that just doesn't make sense to me on paper, but here we are.
yeah,
Fantasy.
yeah. I think that the Bengals have historically been very, very bad against the Browns, specifically the Joe Burrow Bengals. I think he's just like, I don't know why. I don't have any real stats to back it up, but I think Joe Burrow just sucks against the Browns. I think
You know,
he might, I don't know, he
it's
might
like
be a Chiefs merchant.
between him and Jamar Chase, it's like having two Ferraris in a used car lot. You know, it just doesn't really make sense. I mean, they're surrounded. Obviously, they're way more valuable than anything remotely close to them within
Yeah.
that organization, and But I think that's part of the reason they're just not getting the help that they need. I mean, I think Joe Burrow's had at least seven concussions in his career, and he's what?
Oh, if not more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the kid's been getting killed out there, but
Yeah,
I,
but he's got Debo Samuel on his bench. He's got some assets.
yeah, he's got some assets. He can make some moves there, but I think it's a decent roster, just more or less underperformed. And then for the outlets, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts, I mean, CeeDee Lamb. This team's loaded with talent and a lot of promise, and surprisingly, I think they're going to be pretty competitive.
Hmm. Seems kind of like a backhanded compliment.
But we'll cover that a little bit.
Okay, okay. And yeah, I guess the last matchup of the week, and your weekly winner of the IKEA Team of the Week is the Vancouver Real Deal and Mitch DeVillo. He got the most points in the league. He drafted his team in between wrestling sets, and that's an accomplishment in its own right. And he drafted a pretty good team. Josh Allen getting 43 points will definitely do a lot of legwork in terms of getting that, but that's why you draft Josh Allen, you know?
Yeah, no, I think he's actually one of the few teams in the league that has three quarterbacks on his team, despite having Josh Allen. He's got Baker and Kyler Murray as well, just in case. Why? I don't know. Only Coach DeVillo knows. But again, I'm not going to question it when you're the highest scorer in the league.
Yeah,
So
I to go back to that, I feel like I breezed past the fact that Saban's army also has three quarterbacks, being
ah,
Patrick Mahomes, Justin Fields, and Jordan Love.
you know what that tells me, Pat?
No.
That tells me that the greatest asset is to take assets from others. Is that
Yeah,
I think it
he's got
just
a lot of them.
you eliminate it. You make the waiver wire thin. I mean, you just hope for the best and maybe flip him later in the year. I don't know. It doesn't,
I don't think he's going to be flipping.
but
I think he's a set it and forget it kind of guy. He's got Chris Godwin on his bench who is eligible or was eligible for IR. But he just has him on his bench because you know what? He's a hands-off kind of coach and it works.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let the players play. They're all professionals, right? You hit the buttons, you mash the buttons, and you see what happens. And sometimes you end up with a win. Sometimes
Yeah.
you definitely don't.
And kind of going back to I kind of we didn't even talk about the North Korean sh Shamaliers, Chalamas?
That's
Ch
a great
ch
question.
Don't know. We're gonna have to get back to you on that one, but
Chameleon?
Kevin Barr's team, um, yeah, don't know what was going on. Lowest points of the week by far.
Yeah,
Nothing went right here. Xavier off the get-go, Xavier Worthy dislocating his shoulder with friendly fire, and AJ Brown just putting up back-to-back duds for him out of the gate.
yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, not good, not good, especially from your most valuable, position in a PPR league, right? You need some receivers that catch balls and not shoulders or not your tight ends balls, running head on with them. But and AJ Brown, right? More of a game plan, more of a scheme thing. This was intentional. That's what I'm hearing. That's what my sources are telling me is that he was out there to cause some distractions, and it worked because it ultimately got his team the win.
They did get the win.
But it came at the price of Kevin. Coach Ball.
Yeah,
Honestly, I think the roster is decent. I think it's good, but
He's got Mika Ibuka, Abuba. He's got him on his bench. I mean, he plays him. He's going to be in the 80s or 90s at least because he got
I mean,
zero.
I mean, you got to play the rook in that scenario. Excuse me, I had a cough. Yeah, no, you can't keep the booger on the bench. Is what they're saying, and
Yeah,
booger just needs to be in the roster. I mean, the kid had a lot of hype coming out of college. I don't even know why you start Xavier Worthy. I get he's supposed to be pretty good on the Chiefs. I just, I see the projections, but if you think from a logical sense, I mean, Mbuka was the way to go, especially for the matchup at Atlanta.
yeah. I like Ibuka. I like him. The thing I didn't, and I mean, I get the Xavier Worthy thing. He was theoretically kind of the only Chiefs wide receiver, and obviously that just didn't work out in his favor. So I don't want to hate on him too much for starting Xavier Worthy. I can understand it. I think obviously it just didn't work out. But the one thing I just don't understand, again, it's starting the Bills versus the Ravens. I
Yeah,
mean, again, the same thing, but on the other side of that game, why do you do it? You're going against Lamar Jackson, one of the better offenses last year. Like, I mean, the Bills defense got Joey Bosa. They got I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but like I don't really know like what part of the Bills defense makes me like, all right, yeah, like let's start them against maybe the best offense we've seen over the past like
right.
I don't know, 10 years. Or at
Right.
least most dynamic. I don't know.
No, just not. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, questions to be had for Coach Barr. Very talented roster. It just, it didn't work out for him this week. I think too many commanders in the lineup is never a good thing. Obviously, unless your name's Jaden Daniels or Scary Terry. But he's got a deep bench, and he kind of struck gold with Travis Etienne Jr. winning the job, shipping out the competition.
He
That's
did.
going to be pretty vital, especially
Yep, he did.
since Trayvon Henderson is clearly not ready yet. But
Yeah. RJ Harvey looked good in that game too. Another guy he has. Zach Charbonnet, I mean Kenneth Walker. I don't know if you were watching that game, but Kenneth Walker just kind of looks bad.
yeah, yeah, no, not great.
I don't know who has him, but
I
I,
don't. Clearly, someone we talked about, but at
yeah.
the end of the day, I mean, he just gets injured all the time, so it's good to have a Charbonnet. Um,
Yeah. Well, that's kind of that's all the matchups here.
yeah, Pat, what I tell you? We flip it to commercial real quick and be back in a second, huh?
Okay.
Okay, 1 sec.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, flame grill case with perfect toppers. I rule this day. Lettuce, mayo, pickle, ketchup is okay if I don't want that impossible or bacon. Whopper, any Whopper, my way. You rule your season today and BK. Have it your way. You rule.
And we're back. Yep, you heard that. It's the IKEA Fantasy Football League sponsored by Burger King. Get your burgers and get your love seats. Yeah, so I think now we got to go to the next segment of the show, which is the pickups of the week.
Pickups to the
Um, Pickups of the week. I don't know. Let's look at who's picking up who here.
well.
Um, I'll,
I'll tell you, Pat. Would you like to go first with your pickup, or would you like to go to mine? Because I have a drop of the week. Let me tell you that.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the pick of the week, and I'm gonna do this. I understand that I'm kind of a homer here, but I'm gonna say the pickup of the week goes to me for picking up Harold Fannin Jr., a guy that we actually saw play in person.
Yeah, one of the
Uh,
one of the premier programs in the MAC conference, if not the most premier program. I mean, the guy dominated at Bowling Green. He's just a talented type.
dominant,
But
dominated at Bowling Green.
I think we have an expert to speak on this, don't we? Do we not?
Yeah, we actually have our resident Mac expert here, Ybone. Ybone, can you tell us a little bit about Harold Fannin Jr. and what he brings to the table?
Yo, what's up? It's Y Bone here. First name Y, last name Bone.
Thanks, Ybone. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about this guy, Harold Fannin. Could you just give us a little bit of background on the school, the player?
Yeah, I mean, Harold Fannin Jr. just dominant. Physical, knows the game, great blocking tight end as well. Good route running. Probably should have won tight end player of the year last year. But there's continuous bias against G5 schools in the NCAA, so he did not get that award. But I believe he set the
Uh,
record for most receptions or something. But
and
live
remind
on,
me again. Yeah, thanks. Remind me again who won the tight end award last year. I actually have no idea.
I do not remember. Maybe I don't actually. I think the guy from Penn State, maybe live on.
Oh, Tyler Warren. Yeah, that would make sense.
That would probably do it.
That would make sense.
Well,
But Harold Fannin Jr. did lead the Browns in targets last week,
he did.
so
He did. Quite interesting. Quite an interesting.
did not see that one coming. But he was
Yeah,
great in
sure.
college.
Especially when you have, David Njoku. Any David Njoku owners out there got to be a little bit concerned with that. I don't know. How would you feel like that moving forward, knowing that you have a superstar backup tight end right behind you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have David Njoku on my team, and I'll tell you what. I mean, I don't know what I'm. My mind is on pretzels right now. I
Yeah.
got both tight ends for the Browns. I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, at least you got yourself covered. It just takes up an additional roster spot.
Yeah, yeah. I hope Harold Fannin Jr. just wins the job. I don't wish ill will on David Njoku, but I think Harold is the future. I think you got to roll with the old HF.
Well, I think when David Njoku put a lit firework to his face, it really sparked some concerns in the Browns organization. Whether that be the intelligence or the integrity of the player or what have you. I think
Or the ability to absorb fireworks.
yeah, I mean, he could, but clearly there's some concern within the building, and that showed by taking a late flyer on Fannin, and honestly, that really worked out. So I think Njoku's on the hot seat. I think we can see him on the move this year. He's in a contract year, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. And who did you have for your pickup of the week?
Also Homer, a little bit of a Homer this one, but I think it was finally a in today's day and age, right? The woke agenda probably pressed on us. I think it's all about coming out, and I think we saw someone come out this weekend. That's Quinyon Johnson. I mean, look, I did TCU. Obviously, the guy is the type of guy you can take home to your parents, to introduce them to hold your child.
He's a coach's son.
He's a
He's
coach.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't hate that. I mean, honestly, he had a great coming out party, 2 touchdowns. I mean, come on, it's going to be great. He's on a high-powered offense that we think would be running the ball. Little did we know they only ran the ball, I think, 20% of the whole game. It's a pretty explosive offense from the old Herbie at the quarterback there for the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh has a plan, and there's a lot of faith in Quinn Johnson moving forward. So excited to see that. Good for Coach Kevin for picking him up. It's another addition to the stacked roster that he's building out there. Clearly needs it though after last week's performance.
Yeah, he needs it. He needs the points wherever he can get them. So yeah, that was a good one. Some other notable ad drops this week. We got also Coach Kevin adding Calvin Austin the third.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, that's a guy I kind of didn't even realize was still playing. And
Little jitterbug guy kind of guy. He's quick. He's nimble. He's 3 years in the league. He's former Steeler. Current Steeler.
yeah, he looked good. He looked good. I
Look,
mean,
look.
to be fair, with the Jets, that Sauce Gardner was covering DK Metcalf the whole game, so who knows if that played into Calvin Austin's target share there, but I guess we'll figure that one out. Another one I liked, I don't know if you remember this guy, Elik Io Manor, pickup from the Ozark Aardvarks. I
Uh,
remember watching this guy at Stanford because TCU played Stanford, and this guy was literally Stanford's only good player,
yep.
and he was very, very good.
Very tall, very athletic. He's a good run blocker, but he'll go up there and get in the top shelf, where the kids can't get it. So.
Yeah, and he won. I think he won the Canadian Player of the Year in the
uh,
NCAA.
Some people call Chase Brown Maple McCaffrey, but maybe it's Alakbar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Akbar
yep.
could be him. Yeah, that kind of covers everything, though. I
Well,
don't know. Do you have anything?
more
Any
pretty
other news?
ad. We had one more pretty important ad here, and that was
Oh,
what
who?
happened shortly before recording. Noticed a Eagles defense on the waiver wire, had to quickly scoop them up. Big addition to the butt fumblers, finally getting an Eagle on the team. So
Yeah,
right,
I saw that. I saw the deep. I saw Eagles on the waiver wire, and I mean, look, they kind of got a tough schedule coming up, but
very.
with Jalen Carter theoretically back on the defensive line, they should be much better.
Yeah,
when
that
they
helps
were against
create a
Dallas.
gigantic gaping hole that allows a washed up former draft pick on the Broncos to show that he's pretty decent running through.
Wash. I mean, he's like 25 years old. All right, let's cool it with the wash talk.
Miles Sanders is out there. That was fun to see.
Yeah, Miles Sanders, I think that's fair to call him washed. He did have that 50-yard run, but then
Was that the fourth
followed it with
fumble?
maybe, yeah, followed it with maybe one of the worst fumbles you could ever have in a game.
Changed
So
the game. Jerry had to
that's-
call a favor and get the game suspended. It was crazy. Couldn't believe it happened. Killed all the Eagles' momentum, but we're moving on.
killed the
Uh,
Cowboys' momentum, killed everyone's momentum.
yeah. Well,
No points were scored after that.
let me ask you something. I couldn't help but notice a drop of the week candidate out there, and I feel like it's maybe a new segment we have to add because
Okay.
clearly when you add some talent, you lose some. But couldn't help but notice our new league member dropped George Kittle. Um,
Yeah.
that was interesting, especially when there's an IR spot. But
Yeah, I contacted the manager. The IR spot was not known at the time.
interesting.
And as new commissioner, I took it to my responsibility to just put George Kittle back on our team and put him in the IR spot because, you know, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, I thought it was just sheer confidence in their roster for just a 4 week absence is just deemed not good enough, and to outright drop them. So I mean,
Maybe it
a lot of
was.
confidence
I
in the
could be wrong.
yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think he's out very long, for what I understand, but
I
maybe,
don't
maybe.
think so.
But a lot of confidence in Jake Ferguson on the back end to step up there. So
Yeah,
uh,
and she got picked up Zach Ertz. It looked good with
yep,
Jaden Daniels. So got
yep,
that game tonight. I don't know when this podcast will be put out to the league, but that
well,
game, Packers, I almost said Redskins, almost got canceled.
ooh, you go,
Commanders, yeah, Packers Commanders tonight. I gotta say the Packers run defense looked pretty good without Kenny Clark.
yeah,
I hate to say it. I mean I had Jameer Gibbs and he didn't I think run for literally anything. David Montgomery also ran for basically nothing. Could be just because Dan Campbell was a Ben Johnson merchant. That could be why.
could
Maybe
be,
the Lions just suck. I don't know. We're about to find out though.
yeah,
See how the Packers defense fares against a pretty good Commanders offense.
yeah, definitely. Well, it'll be interesting. A guy took Commanders plus 3.5. Shout out, sponsored by DraftKings. But we do have an expert, a local Green Bay Packers expert, calling in here.
Yeah, who do we got on the line?
Yeah, who's on the line?
Yo, what up? It's Y Bone. First name Y, last name Bone.
Oh, okay. Bone? Can you give us a breakdown? What did you see of the Packers this last weekend, and what do you expect going forward in this game?
I mean, I think you covered last week's game pretty well. Um, I think tonight, if the Packers can run the ball, I think they should win. I know that's pretty in-depth analysis, but that's what you get from Y Bone. I do think the Packers have some pretty athletic front seven that hopefully can contain Jaden Daniels. But
Athletic,
those
but
are
maybe hurt.
the keys to the game. Yeah, that's what some maybe upset people in
Athletic,
the
but maybe
Dallas
damaged goods.
Texas area have been saying. But four pressures, one sack, unlimited snaps. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say hashtag thank you, Jerry Bone.
yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. He is athletic, but he also could be hurt. I've heard a lot of reports saying he's a cancer to the locker room. I've heard a lot of reports saying that he doesn't really love the game, that he just kind of does it for the clicks. That's the reports I'm hearing. And honestly, I gotta back my guy Jerry on this one. I think the Cowboys fleeced him on that one. I really do. I think this might be the Cowboys' year. If you look at the team, you look at the squad, we look pretty good against the reigning Super Bowl champs. CD catches a few passes here and there. We beat them. So I like our chances at the Super Bowl this year, and I think the Packers, for all the glaze that was put on them this past week, I think it was really just them beating a very damaged, Lions team that really was a Ben Johnson merchant. I mean, if you look at the facts, they're 0-1 in the Dan Campbell era
Well,
without Ben Johnson.
Look, for one, as an unbiased third party, will support Motor City Dan Campbell. I think he's a fun, energetic coach, but clearly Ben Johnson was that team. Clearly, he's the reason why they were successful and executed it the way that they did. I just don't think the Lions are going to be who everyone thinks they're going to be. But I
Yeah, I
don't
got to
the Green
Yeah,
Bay
sorry, go ahead.
either. I don't think the Green Bay Packers will either. Jordan Love, a lot of injuries, a lot of lingering issues. Obviously, still a lot of question marks. The wide receiver for them. They got a great defensive talent. Obviously, I think they took advantage of Jerry's old age there, and I think someone should call a nursing home and put him in there because that's a questionable trade. But nonetheless, I think Green Bay may come out of this one, but I hope not. Just because I got the Commanders by 3.5. Sorry, within 3.5. But if it is the Green Bay Packers, I hope they only win by 3. Sponsored by DraftKings.
Yeah, I got to get off my chest here. I I think Dan Campbell might just be a meathead. You know what I mean? Like everyone the past 3 years has said, "Oh, Dan Campbell, he looks like a meathead, he talks like a meathead, but really he's actually smart." You know what I mean? Meanwhile, you have this guy that majored in computer science from UNC who was working in like the tech industry before becoming a coach. Like he was on that team. And they were saying that Dan Campbell was a smart one. Now, granted, I mean everyone was giving Ben Johnson a lot of praise too. Um, but yeah, I think sometimes if you walk like a duck and you talk like a duck, you're a duck. And I think in this case, Dan Campbell might just be a meathead. On this is kind of a two-part take though. On that same token, Ben Johnson is just a nerd. You know what I mean? Like you look at the Bears last week. They were just pissing down their leg the whole game. They couldn't do anything,
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, sadly, I think it's just one of those things where you needed the meathead and you needed the nerd together to kind of cancel each other out and make sort of like a Voltron coach that was great for the Lions. You take them apart, they're just, you got the right arm of Voltron and the left leg of Voltron in separate places. It doesn't really do it the same. So that's my take. I think both of them on separately are just not going to be good coaches.
Yeah, and furthermore, it never helps when you have a quarterback that paints his nails. So again, that's kind of how
That's
I
true.
see North. Every NFC North quarterback's flawed, right? You
Yeah.
got Caleb painting his nails. You got Jordan Love with the last name Love. I mean, how fun would it
Hmm.
be? I mean,
It's very
Jared
feminine.
Goff was already a failed first overall pick. Um, and obviously JJ McCarthy injury prone. I mean, this kid, he looked good, but man, this guy can get injured. Lost his whole rookie year. So I just there's all problems with the NFC North, to be honest. All
A
four.
messy division. A messy division. But
Well,
yeah.
do you want to talk some? You want to take some picks for next week's games? For
Yeah, let's take some picks here. Yeah, you have any off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go start to right. Look at the box scores here. So it starts with the Crabbers playing at the Butt Fumblers here, 116 to 118 projections. Look, I got to go with the Butt Fumblers. They're overdue, right? Homer, myself. I got the Eagles defense against the Chiefs. We're going to embarrass, Patrick Mahomes again. Not that we didn't do it bad enough the first time. Bo Nix, I'm banking on getting more than 10 points. So that's always going to be helpful. And I think just Dak Prescott will have a good game versus the Giants, but I'm hoping that it's a little bit of a blowout, so he won't be throwing as much. So I'm going Butt Fumblers slightly over the Crabbers.
All right. And yeah, the matchup I'm looking at this week, I think you got to take the Denver Broncos -1 versus the Indianapolis Colts here. The Denver Broncos could not have looked worse, and the Colts could not have looked better. You just think about it, don't think about it. Bet the Broncos. This is the Broncos game. They are going to win this game. They're probably going to kill the Colts. Remember last year, everyone was talking about how good the Saints were. They started off going crazy. The Broncos, the Colts, I mean, they beat a Miami team, which, let's be honest, I literally think wants to die. I think Mike McDaniel was saying that he looks forward to his death. You have Tyreek Hill now under investigation again in some other domestic violence case. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He doesn't want to play in Miami, but I don't know how they're going to trade him now that he has this overhang. It's just a mess in Miami. So the fact that the Colts won last week, not a huge surprise. That's a mess. This is the smart money lock of the week. Denver Broncos -1 over the Indianapolis Colts. Lock it in.
You know, Pat, I can tell you love football because you just blended fantasy football, which is the take that I gave the matchup that I was referring to with the actual NFL games going on, and
Right.
that just shows that you're just a football guy.
I just like I don't care I don't care where the matchup is. I'm looking at all the matchups out there.
Fantasy and reality blend in your mind, and that's the
There's no difference.
there's no difference. And that's how every fan should be. That's how every owner should be in our league. By the way, they should
Yep.
all. But yeah, no. If we're going actual games, there's obviously, there's some good ones out there, right? I'm looking at Chargers at Raiders. I think that's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, 49ers at Saints, also bloodbath. I think there's going to be a lot of blowouts this week. I thought we had a great week 1. Not going to be a very close week 2. I like the over for the week. I think it's 480
Wow.
points. I will take the over
The over and all the points.
all
Wow.
points.
After so many unders last week. All right, little aggression to the mean bet there. Okay, I like it.
Well, I just wanted to get your pick on the fantasy matchups that each
Oh.
teams are playing this week. That was the intention of
Like who I think will
win
win
each
this
game.
week?
Win each game, yeah. Win each matchup.
Okay. Let's take a gander real quick.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so
So obviously the first one was the butt fumblers, the Crabbers at the butt fumblers. Like I said, 2-point spread in favor of the fumblers. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the Crabber going to pull this one out. I think Dak bounces back. I think CeeDee's not going to drop passes. And yeah, I think you have Tyreek Hill on your team, and I think that's just bad vibes.
Well,
That's all I got to say about that.
I mean, everyone's saying that these new accusations come out at an interesting time. Some people are saying it's coming up from Tyreek's camp to force them out. I don't know.
People are saying this is coming from Tyreek's camp.
Yep, that he's coming out with these. Clearly we don't know which wife is, making these accusations. I'm sure it's in reports, but I'm not going to read those. We're just focused on winning this week's game. So 1 week at a time, but I think Tyreek Hill gets out of Miami this season.
Like in a cop car?
Yes.
I mean, that's already happened once, I guess. So, well, I guess we'll see. I am trying to find the matchups for this week, and
All
I
right,
just
that's
cannot
fine. I
find
can
them.
read it off to you here. Let's go to
Here we go. I got him. I got him now.
all right.
Sorry.
Let's look at the secondary matchup, which is Deshaun Watson at Yeehaw Junction Ducks. Two very high scoring projected teams this week. 123.3 in favor of Deshaun Watson's happy endings. Your thoughts, Patrick?
Yeah, I think few injuries going in here. Don't think Christian McCaffrey practiced today. He's got calf issues. Christian McCaff hurts. Good nickname. That would have been a great nickname, but Deshaun Watson happy endings is was topical like 3 years ago. But I get it. It's a historical franchise.
Yeah.
Anyways, Drake London also kind of hurt.
He did
Um,
practice.
he did practice. I do think Drake London in general is not very good.
Ooh,
I think he's overrated. I think
ooh,
Jalen Waddle is not very good.
ooh.
Um, I would not draft either of those players, but uh, you know, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess my lean is Deshaun Watson happy endings.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. All right, going against the Spencer lock. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's go over to his brother's matchup. How about that? Let's talk about Saban's Army at the Alouettes. Two 1-0 teams. Again, 125.3 in favor of Duncan Locke to win this week over 117.6 for the Alouettes. I mean, this one's going to be another projected high scoring one. What are you thinking here?
They call her the Owlettes, but she's got a lot of Cowboys. A lot of Cowboys. So, you know, go Cowboys. That's what I got to say about this matchup.
Yeah,
Go Cowboys.
I think that's something. That's
I
definitely
do think I have to take Saban's Army though. But
yeah.
go Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm taking Saban's Army here. I think this is going to be a little bit of a one-sided matchup. Justin Jefferson obviously going to have a big week. Patrick Mahomes looking to have a bounce back week, but won't. Devon Achane, I mean, the dude catches balls. The dude's fast. He wasn't going to have a good week until a garbage time touchdown. but I think he's going to bounce back this week technically. And yeah,
technically.
I take Saban's Army.
All right. Then we got the Ozark Aardvarks versus the North Korean Cholamas. Cholamas,
Yeah, and these are, I don't want to try to get too offensive here, but these are technically two bottom barrel teams right now. I mean,
for
seventh
sure.
place, very low scoring, very low projections here. I don't put a gun to my head. Do I have to pick a winner? I don't really want to. It's I think just bad football all around, but I'm gonna have to go with the Ozarks bouncing back here.
I think I'm gonna actually go the opposite of you on this one. I think now that the Cholamas, now that Kevin Barr, Coach Barr has Emeka Burger in his lineup, I think he's gonna be a good addition. I think Terry McLaurin, I think he has a better game tonight. He's got Michael Penis. He looked decent. I think he's gonna do better. I just like AJ Brown bounce back game. He's gonna have a bounce back game. He always has a bounce back game.
He always does. He never has two bad games. This is a good week to take the AJ Brown over, sponsored by DraftKings.
Yep, and Bills, they're playing the Jets, and that's a little bit better than the Ravens. Again, I'm a matchup guy. Some people just like to draft their defense and play them every week. To each their own, but I think this is actually a decent matchup. Uh, I think I'm going with the Cholomas for a bounce back win.
Okay, interesting. Definitely a lot of talent there. Just a lot of underperforming in week one. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I
Yeah,
think we got
and
one matchup left, right?
yeah, last matchup I think would be mine.
Yep.
So man, I don't know who to play. I have switched my lineup no less than 10 times trying
Mind
to
games.
figure out.
Mind games. Reminds me
I don't
of
know what to do.
what Bill Belichick provided to the box upstairs for the TCU North Carolina game. If you ended up seeing that,
Yeah.
he
I
just
I
provided the lineup card that just said quarterback and quarterback. Did not have any names on it.
yeah,
Classic mind games.
well, I really don't know what I think Bill Belichick had some sort of strategy with that. I
Clearly
truly
not. I
don't.
mean, they got killed, but
They
go
did.
frogs.
Go
Um,
Frogs. But I don't know who to play. Roma Dunze? Do I play Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt?
yeah, do you play
Do
Bill just tonight just to have something in it? I
Well, I
mean,
got Jaden Daniels, so I have something in it
oh, that's
tonight.
true. It's true.
But yeah, I'm really just at a loss here. The Bears looked so bad. Caleb Williams looked so bad.
But he
But
had a good fantasy performance.
he had a decent fantasy performance against all odds. Against all odds he did. And granted, I think that he actually was going against a decent defense in the Vikings. Uh, and I don't think the Lions have that defense. So my brain is telling me to go with Dunze again. My heart wants me to go with Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, just because I love the guy,
The old
Bill
Bill
Merritt,
Crosby.
Bill Krosky. For those that don't know, seventh round pick out of Arizona, was formerly a Division two player, I think, and then he had a year at like New Mexico State where he was like redshirted and gave his number to a teammate, but because he gave his number to a teammate, it technically wasn't a redshirt year. So when he went to Arizona, this is wild. I don't know if you paid attention to this, but when he went to Arizona, because he was technically by the letter of the law not redshirted because his number was on the field, even though it wasn't him, they said he could not play at Arizona. So that's why he fell so deep in the draft in the
Wow.
seventh round. Yeah, crazy story if you don't know about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, but yeah, I love him. I want to play him, but the Packers' run defense looked really good last night. And against my better heart, I feel like I need to go with Roma Dunze, even though I really want to play Bill Merritt. And yeah, I I think I'm gonna lose this week. I think I'm gonna lose this week. I'm gonna go with the Vancouver real deal in this matchup.
Yeah, I hate to doubt you, but I'm gonna go with you too because Genty underperformed. James Cook had an okay week, and Nico Collins I think had 0 points, if not three or four. So I think Mitch has got a good team this year. They look pretty decent week one, and I think he's gonna continue that into week two here.
Yeah, no, agreed. I don't like my chances, but I never do. So
Yeah.
um, on that note, I think that that about covers everything. You got anything else?
No, we're 15 minutes in almost. I
Yeah.
don't know who else is going to be listening to this at this point, but if you made it this far, good on you. I think maybe in the future ones, we probably condense it slightly more, maybe bring in more guests. I don't know. We'll see. We'll work it out. But
Yeah, we'll work it out.
overall, not bad. Everyone's doing a podcast these days, so why not us?
Yep. All right. Well, have a good week 1 or week
Yep.
2.
Yep. Thanks. Good luck. Good luck
Good
to
luck.
everyone.
Yep. Good luck, everyone.